Hey everyone, I'm going to try to make this quick. This is going to be my October wrap-up, and I apologize for the planes, because sadly there's nothing I can do about it. And every time I've tried to film today, a plane has gone over. So I feel like if I try to wait, then I just won't ever get anything filmed. Excuse me, I have either allergies or a cold, I'm not sure which. But October wrap-up. I read not as much as I would have liked, but I enjoyed everything I did read. I read some kids things. I read a short story. I read 3 adult novels. I finished a couple things. I read a play, so all good things. So first I'll talk about my Victorian literature stuff. I didn't complete a lot for this, but I did manage to complete 4 of the challenges, 4 of the 5, if I'm allowed to count partial books. I'm not sure if I am, but I finished Small House at Allington. I read about 200 pages of this in October, and I loved it. I didn't love it quite as much as the others. Sorry if you're hearing some noise. I have a very cute puppy right over there in the chair. She's not actually a puppy, but anyway, a dog. So I didn't like it quite as much. I still really, really loved it, and I loved the plot, the characters, and the writing just as much as the others. But 2 things concerning the ending bothered me. One thing that didn't happen bothered me because I thought the whole time that it was going to happen, specifically in the last third. I was waiting for it, and it never happened. And now that I've had a month since I've read it, because I read it at the very beginning of October, I'm okay with the fact that this event did not happen. I've become more okay with it, but I still have that feeling. I still remember what that initial kind of shock and disappointment was like, so that's why I knocked it down a little bit. But then also, something else concerning the same character that did happen, I didn't like the way Trollope left. It's actually the same character, and I don't like the way Trollope left this character's feelings. I know that sounds weird, but the way that this character felt at the end of the story, I didn't like it. I wasn't okay with it. It bothered me. So because of that, I had it lower than the others at like a 4 or 4.5. However, again, I did really, really love the characters, the writing, the plot, mostly. I love Lily and Belle Dale. I love John Eames. I specifically love the sister relationship between Lily and Belle. It's definitely one of the best sister relationships I've ever read. I liked it even more than the sister relationship in Sense and Sensibility, which is interesting because Katie and I, Katie from Books and Things, and we started reading this book together, and then I just took this long to finish it. So we've been talking about it together since she finished it. And she was saying that she was interested to see what I thought as far as this book being a little bit like Sense and Sensibility. And one of the things that you see is this sisterly dynamic between Lily and Belle that's kind of similar to Eleanor and Marianne. But I think I like the Lily and Belle one a little bit better because I actually like Lily better than... Like, Lily is the one who's kind of close to Marianne in character. Not really in character, in situation. But I actually like the character of Lily better than Marianne in Sense and Sensibility. So I guess that's why I like the sister dynamic better. And also, though, I do probably like Eleanor a little more than Belle. But anyway, that's a whole other video comparing these 2 books. But yeah, so I really, really loved it. It was just that one part of the ending that kind of bothered me slightly. And so that one I'm counting for my underrated books challenge. That was, like something like 3,300 Goodreads reviews or ratings, and Ange, who is the one who set the challenge, said anything under 12,000 can be considered a lesser known Victorian work. So I'm counting that for that one. And then for, I read Woman of No Importance by Oscar Wilde, and I'm counting this for a author who is not English, and I am counting this for something like a book or novel that someone recommended to you. And these two challenges were from Katie from Books and Things and Lucy the Reader. And Katie is actually the one who has been trying to get me to read this play for maybe like a year, like ever since she found out that I really like Importance of Being Earnest and An Ideal Husband. She's been encouraging me to read Woman of No Importance. And I loved it. I loved it so much because it basically, it gave me, it basically combined my feelings for Importance of Being Earnest and An Ideal Husband together, and then also added like majorly important topic into that. Because with Importance of Being Earnest, I loved it so much because it was so funny the whole way through. And with An Ideal Husband, it just gave me all the feels. So with this one, it was funny in the beginning, like really funny, and it's supposed to be a drawing room comedy, so it's very funny the way Importance of Being Earnest is funny, but then it also gets very kind of deep and emotional about halfway through and continues that way through to the end. So gave me the emotions that Ideal Husband gave me, plus it is very important as far as feminism goes, so throw the important topic in there. And yeah, so I loved it, and I listened to an audio version that was like a radio play while I was following along in my physical copy, and that starred Miriam Margolyes, whose name I can never say, but Professor Sprout in Harry Potter, and Samantha Mathis, who I know from things like American President and Little Women. And so they were in it, and they were both wonderful. And then there were a couple of other people whose names I am blanking on at the moment. But anyway, the audio was wonderful as well. So that was a great experience. 5 out of 5 stars. So that counted for 2 more challenges. And then the 4th challenge that I'm counting, even though I didn't actually, I didn't start or finish this book in October, I just continued it in October, was Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. And the challenge that I'm counting for that is reading a female author, because I started this in September and just continued reading in October, didn't even finish it. But yeah, counting that for that. And then everything else I read was, I read 3 Agatha Christie's. I read Mystery of the Blue Train, Lord Edgware Dies /13 at Dinner, and Peril at N House. I gave all of these 5 stars, I believe, and it was great because I liked them all for different reasons. I would say my favorite was Peril at N House, but Mystery of the Blue Train I loved because the book is so much more intricate and has so many more characters and kind of twists and turns than the TV adaptation, which was great because I really loved the TV adaptation, so that means that I loved the book so much more than that, which is crazy. So I loved that about that one. And then Lord Edgware Dies, my favorite thing about that is the way that the killer becomes suspicious, like the way that they kind of accidentally not reveal the fact that they're the killer, but the way that the killer accidentally makes themselves suspicious. It's a really, really well written, played out scene, in my opinion. And then also this is how the killer gets onto Poirot's radar, shall we say. So yeah, I really loved that. And then Peril at N House, I would say both Lord Edward Dies and Peril at N House are both, they both focus a little more on like the psychology of the killer, but Peril at N House I found specifically interesting when it came to that. Like, I liked both, but Peril at N House was just a little more focused on the way the killer's mind worked, and I thought that that was great. And I also really, really love mysteries when they're set in, you know, when you've got a bunch of people in a big grand house, and someone gets killed, and then they all kind of stay in the house and have to solve the murder that way. I love mysteries like that, but I specifically love Agatha Christie mysteries like that. So that was great. I thought that was wonderful. So I loved those, and then I listened to The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me by Roald Dahl, which was narrated by Hugh Laurie. I have a Roald Dahl collection that includes this one, and I listened to it because I have been on a complete kind of house binge, and I did not have internet at the time, so I couldn't, I also didn't have my DVD player accessible, so I couldn't watch House. So instead, I found this on my on my Audible account, and I was like, hey, I own this, and it's already on my phone, so I don't need internet for it. I'm gonna listen to this again, and I love it. It's definitely one of my favorite Roald Dahl children's stories, and I really loved Hugh Laurie's narration of it, so that was great. And then I read, oh gosh, I know I read another children's book, but I'm blanking on which one. I want to say it was a picture book. Oh gosh, okay, I will think about this and put it in the comments, not in the comments, in the description. But yeah, I really loved Giraffe, the Pelly and Me. And then I also read a short story called 1776, a revolutionary, I think it's called A Revolutionary Tale in Tweets, and this was by Maureen Johnson. And Maureen Johnson created, like, she made fake Twitter accounts, and I don't know if she really did the Twitter account thing or if this was just for her story, but like in the story, all the founding fathers have their own Twitter accounts, and it's the conversations about how they're going to, I think it's maybe they're writing the Declaration of Independence, and it is so funny. I was laughing so hard, and it was the first Maureen Johnson thing that was new to me that I had read in a while. It's actually been out for a while, but I haven't been able to find it, and this was the first time I was able to find it online. And I just completely loved it. So yeah, that was pretty fantastic. 5 out of 5 stars, or maybe like 4.5, I haven't decided, but it was really, really funny. And then I think that's it. Yeah, I want to say that's all that I read, but I'll probably think of like 1 or 2 things that I missed and fill you guys in the description. But yeah, it was a really, really fun reading month, so I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though I didn't read that much. And you guys just got a glimpse of my aunt's dog, so, because I'm puppy sitting right now, sort of. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what you think of anything that I've talked about, and let me know what you guys read in October, and I will talk to you guys later.